but it's kind of expressed more as just relaxing in the world they've built for themselves, rather than branching out and exploring more.
Oh, so they might disapprove, but they're not saying it out
Yeah,
loud.
exactly.
Most of the old people like walk freely. They don't have like strollers or anything they hold on to. And
Hey guys, this is your flashy fashion reporter, Kathy Cat, and today we're gonna go hit the streets of Tokyo and ask the foreigners that are here right now what they think of older Japanese people that are on the streets, the gentlemen and the ladies. What are their thoughts? What do they think from just looking at them maybe for a short time or a longer time? Let's go and ask foreigners in Japan. You'll live here for a while, so you'll have seen Japanese people in their 50s and 60s. Comparing Japanese people in their 50s and 60s to people back home in your country in their 50s and 60s, how are they different?
They're so much calmer here. My mom is in her, well, I shouldn't say her age, but she falls in this category. And she is a rambunctious woman. And her whole friend group, rambunctious women. And they're just, I think the way they celebrate, hitting that point in their life is different in America. I think Americans kind of cut loose and do the things they've always wanted to do. And I think in Japan, I see people doing the same, but it's kind of expressed more as just relaxing in the world they've built for themselves, rather than branching out and exploring more. But there are some people to explore.
Relaxing in the world they have built for themselves, how does that look like?
Well, I'm from the countryside. I'm from Niigata, and when I first moved there, it was very quiet, and I was like, ah man, how do people not go nuts with just nothing but rice all around? And now I'm starting to think that hanging out with the rice is the right choice, because it's quiet, it's simple, it's all you need. I started going trout fishing with my 70-year-old man. I gotta reword that.
Okay, yeah, explain that.
I met this 70-year-old Japanese man. He taught me how to ski, and then he said, let's go trout fishing. So I went trout fishing with him. And just being in the river, being in the countryside, walking through like the farms and the rivers, I was like, this might be it. I think they're onto something here in the countryside, in this quiet world here.
You met this 70-year-old Japanese man and he showed you how to chill in Japan.
That's like the weirdest story ever, but yeah, that's kind of how it happened.
All right. What are you doing now? Are you still hanging out?
Yeah, so we went fishing last weekend, and I caught 3 fish. Felt great. And we're gonna go fishing again sometime in July, I think. And then when the weather gets cold, we're gonna go snowboarding and skiing. That's kind of our ritual now.
What is like a big life lesson that he has managed to teach you?
Never stop learning, because he's like a jack of all trades kind of guy, where he's a soccer coach and he's a professor at a university, and he was helping out run a business at one point. He's doing all these millions of different things, and he's always meeting new people through it, making new connections and learning, never stopping learning. New crafts, new people, new ideas. He's a really cool guy. That's for you, Toru.
Shout out for you, Toru.
The joys of the Japanese countryside. That's me and my fish.
All right, there we go. That's you and why are you wearing bright orange?
See, he lent me the entire regalia. So he was in this royal blue, and I'm in this neon orange, and we're just trudging through the river. Oh, he taught me how to cast and everything. So there's no bait. It's just a lure.
There's no bait?
Yeah, so you cast the rod in, and then you just reel it in, and the trout just dash right after it.
And a 70-year-old man showed you how to trout fish.
Yep, sure did. He has like really strong legs because he's from skiing all the time. He's a ski instructor. So he's very proud of his legs. Oh, and he likes baseball too. He taught me the newt bar thing.
How did you meet 70-year-old Toru?
I met him while I was teaching one of my friends how to snowboard at the ski resort that he works at. And I had brought multiple other friends there before, and I'd taught a couple other friends. And he came up to me, he's like, you're with somebody different every day, are you an instructor? I'm like, no, I really want someone to snowboard with, because nobody knows how to snowboard, so I'm trying to rope them in. And he's like, well, I know how to ski. Do you know how to ski? I'm like, I don't know how to ski. He said, well, I can teach you.
Oh.
He taught me how to ski.
And now you became besties.
Yep, that's how it goes.
Nice.
Over here, a lot more polite. Yeah, just very polite, a lot quieter, whereas back home in Australia, a lot louder. People aren't as considerate just generally. And yeah, the older generation is a bit more outspoken when they disapprove of something back in Australia, whereas here you can maybe see a couple of looks of disapproval, but they're never going to say anything because they're too polite. So, yeah.
Oh, so they might disapprove, but they're not saying it out
Yeah,
loud.
exactly. In Australia, they'll let you know. You'll have 55-year-old men trying to talk to you on the train, grabbing your arm, things like that. Yeah. Yeah.
What, old men come up to try to grab your arm?
Oh, well, when you've got tattoos, they'll be like, oh, look, sweet ink, let me look at your tattoos. But it's really they just want to grab your arm. No.
Germans are really more grumpy than Japanese men. We had, when we were in a park, we had a Japanese man come to us and talk to us about really anything in English even, and how beautiful the park is. And I don't think you have that in Germany.
You wouldn't really talk to strangers like that, or?
Yeah, no, you don't really. But I think here, also not really a lot. I think we were really lucky. He was really friendly. He said he teach English online.
So you might have wanted to practice some English with you guys.
Yeah, that might have been the case.
So when you see people in their 50s, 60s walk around town and you look at them, what is your impression of them here in Japan?
Oh, we live in Sugamo near the old people, Harajuku. So we see a lot of old people when we walk the streets there, and they tend to mind their own business. They look sometimes when you walk, they look, but they don't really stare at you. I feel like in Germany there's more staring, more intense staring.
So less intense staring.
Less intense staring here, definitely.
How is it to live in Sugamo? How is it to live in the area with the oldest population of Tokyo?
Is it?
Well, I'm not sure if that's the area of the oldest population, but this is the Harajuku for old people. That's what I meant. So
I don't know, it's not really different, I think, from any other places. You just see, again, the more old people walking around there than young people, but you also see sometimes children, or there's some kindergarten groups near where we live.
So with the older people, how do they dress? How do they behave around you guys?
They just walk at us. They don't really interact with us, they just look. Especially they look at him because of his long hair, and then they look and then they walk away. Oh yeah.
So not much communication there.
No.
Most of the old people walk freely. They don't have strollers or anything they hold on to, and it's kind of impressive how they just go about their day.
Yeah, they have their legs are quite strong. They do a lot of walking. You're right there.
Thank you.
Good observation skills.
In Germany, something I noticed is that older generations are yeah, speak German, don't speak English to us, and here they are oh my god, English, and a little bit Japanese. They're oh my god, you know Japanese, oh that's so cool, and yeah.
So they're trying to speak to you in English. They praise you for your Japanese.
Yes.
Are a lot more. They're just doing their own thing. They're not
Yeah.
too interested in other people. They get on the train, go to work, go home. It's very simple. It's a very simple way of life. Rather than back home in England, it's a bit louder, a bit more busier than the people in Japan. That's the main thing I found, is they're very much, they just get from A to B. Because we've been in other places we've been to, the locals would stop us all the time and say hello, but here they're focused on what they're doing during that day, which is quite nice because we can just blend in and do our thing as well. But that was the thing.
They're quite brave, they're not afraid to push you a little bit with their shoulder or something to get
somewhere.
Yeah, that was something I noticed, but a little bit sometimes, get out of the way when it's busy, but it is a busy city, so. Well, I think the ones we've met were really nice to us. If we looked very confused about some trains or anything, they were very openly to help us, actually.
People generally want to try and help. Rather than other countries, they're trying to sell you something. The locals here direct you wherever we need to go, which is quite a nice difference, nice change. Yeah.
I think there is a big difference between the older generation and the younger generation in Japan, because there is the senpai kohai system, where as an older person you kind of look after the younger ones and the younger ones look after you. But another thing that I also find very interesting is that a lot of Japanese people, once they go to their 40s, 50s, maybe party a little bit less than we maybe do in Germany. But once they go and they retire, then they party a lot more, meaning they're out every day, they're going for walks, they're having communities, they're having events where they're going, they're so busy. So once they actually are in retirement, they're so busy and they're still so healthy and super active, which you don't really see that much in the Western world. A lot of them, eat a little bit too much, drink a little bit too much, and then have some health issues. But in Japan, they seem to know the secret code to still stay healthy and fit during your retirement. time and age. So, what do you think? Let us know. And also, guys, if you want to know more about Japan, check out this video here next. This is Kathy Cat. We're watching the Ask Japanese channel right now, and our socials are down below. Catch you in the next video.